So, yeah.
We're starting.
So, Gunjan, we are starting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we have with us Gunjan Saxena, widely known as the Kargil Girl. She was an Indian Air Force officer and is a former helicopter pilot. She joined the IAF in 1996 and is a 1999 Kargil War veteran. She is one of the first women to fly in the combat zone. One of her main roles during Kargil War was to evacuate the wounded from Kargil, transport supplies, and assistance surveillance. She would go on to be part of operations to evacuate over 900 troops, both injured and deceased, from Kargil. In 2004, after serving as a pilot for 8 years, her career as a helicopter pilot ended. Today, we have a chance to connect with her. We request all classes to remain on mute and listen to what ma'am has to say. All questions will be asked by students of 8AK, and we invite all of you to listen carefully to her. Good morning, ma'am. I am Anya Shroff of grade 8AK, and we are delighted to have you with us today. It is an honor for us to have the opportunity to interact with you and hear about your experiences as one of the first female IAF officers in India.
A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. I'm Kashvi Tandon. We are all very excited to know about you. Please tell us something about yourself.
Okay, a very good morning to all of you. And the young girls who spoke just now, I think it was wonderful hearing you and the confidence in your voice. I think I should congratulate you for that. And I would also like to thank the faculty of the school for giving me this opportunity, because I think it's always a pleasure interacting with young kids. You're so full of energy, and I think every time I have interacted with some young girls and boys of schools and colleges, I think I have got to got to know and learn so much from their questions and interactions with them. So it's always a pleasure. And thank you so much for that introduction, which was given. Very kind of you. To tell you something about myself, I think in a very few sentences, I would like to put it that I think most of it has already been covered in the introduction. And I think it's my honor, and I think it was a wonderful opportunity that I could be part of the Indian Air Force. It's a wonderful organization, and after joining the Indian Air Force, I got this opportunity to be a part of the Kargil operations, which again I think I was extremely fortunate to be a part of these operations, and would always be thankful for all the recognition that I've got because of it.
My second question is that what made you want to join Air Force in the first place?
Okay. I think if I take you all back to my childhood, I was very young, I think maybe about 9 or 10 years old. And that is the time that my father was in the army, and we were posted in the far east at that time. So that was the first time that, back in those days, I'm talking about, say, early 80s. That time it wasn't very common to travel by air. So it was the first opportunity that I got when we were traveling from Guwahati in Assam to Delhi by air. That was the first commercial flight that I ever took. And I was very excited with the idea just of, being on a plane, on a flight. And the whole night I could not sleep because, I was having all these ideas in my head that, what will happen if I walk on the aisle of the aircraft, maybe it'll, start bumping and all those things. So had a very sleepless night because I was so excited with the air travel. And I was very fortunate that on that flight, the captain of that aircraft was a cousin of my father. So back in those days, the security wasn't such a big issue. So, they could allow young kids to come and have a look in the cockpit. So once we were airborne, and the pilot of the aircraft, my uncle, he knew that we are on that flight. So he sent the air hostess to call me and my elder brother to just have a look in the cockpit. So when we entered, I think uh, I'll explain that scene to you all. The cockpit is, a step lower than the aisle. So and I didn't know about it. So the moment we stepped in the cockpit, I was so excited looking outside that I didn't look, I didn't mind my step, and I almost had a fall there. And that feeling of, all that I could see in front of me from that big windshield was the open blue skies, and it was almost as if I fell, or I sort of stumbled into the open blue skies. And I don't know, that feeling, somehow it just was so fascinating, and it just got stuck in my memory. I still have it so fresh in my mind, and that somehow, I think that was the initiation, that got me fascinated about the skies and the idea of being airborne. So from there, I think something just clicked, and I wasn't very sure at that time, but yes, it was there in my mind that this is something I would love to do in my life and be airborne in the blue skies. From there, this dream of becoming a pilot started, and joining the Air Force, this option wasn't very, it is just, I think about, they started this in 1995, getting women into the flying branch of the Indian Air Force. So till the time I was in college, it wasn't an option that was available. So I wanted to go in for civil aviation. And again, it was, very nicely timed for me that I was doing my final year of graduation is when the Air Force opened up the flying branch for women. And I applied for it. uh, to tell you all, I think it was not so much, of a patriotic decision. I wasn't really thinking of, serving the nation or anything at that time. It was still a very personal goal for me. All I wanted to do was, somehow just be airborne. So, and because my father was in the army, it was, sort of a comfort zone for me. This environment, this is what I had, been born and brought up into. So it was a comfort zone for me. I was familiar with the environment. So it was a decision that I think was easy for me. And after that, I think after joining the academy and getting commissioned in the Air Force is when I think this very little, personal goal of mine, just being airborne or being a pilot, it became so much bigger. And I learned so much. I think I became a much better individual after having undergone the training and having served in the Air Force. So I think that is how it happened. I landed up joining the Air Force.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Anka Gupta speaking to you from Wisconsin. I have a few questions for you. Number one, how old were you when you decided to join the IAF?
I was in my final year of graduation. I was 18 and a half is something when I decided to join the Air Force.
Thank you. Number two, what was your inspiration and motivation? Was there anyone you specifically looked up to?
Inspiration to join the Air Force?
Yes.
Yeah, I think for joining the Air Force, it was more because I wanted to fly, and this was one way I knew that, one of the fastest ways that I could become a pilot, because at that time, I don't know how much it is now, but at that time, if I had opted for civil aviation, I think it would have taken me close to, about 4 or 5 years to, really get a commercial pilot's license. Whereas in the Indian Air Force, I knew that 1.5 years of training is what it required for me to be a commissioned Air Force pilot. And also, I think one more factor which sort of, I mean, motivated me to join the Air Force is also because commercial flying is not, I would say it is, I mean, commercial flying and military flying are very different. And in military flying, especially helicopter flying, there's a lot of, adventure and thrill involved, because no 2 days are, similar. Every day there's a different kind of a mission or a different kind of terrain that you're flying over. You're flying into new areas. You are undertaking different kind of exercises. So, it's a lot of thrill. And especially in helicopters, you get to land at some, really remote places and helipads. So, a lot of thrill, a lot of adventure. So I think that is something that sort of motivated me or, drove me towards joining the Air Force.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Saira Singh. I was curious to know what your journey was like becoming an Air Force pilot.
Becoming an Air Force pilot. I think this is where I think I would like to tell you all about the training that, that is imparted at the Air Force Academy. When we all reach there, we have no idea what is going to hit us. And right from day one, the moment we land up in the academy, there is, it's such a tight schedule that we are given, and very different from what all of us are used to, no matter, what kind of a background or, environment you've been brought up into. It's a shock to everybody. And there is no time that is given to you to think about anything, like what is happening around you. Every minute is accounted, and it's a back-to-back activities that is planned for you 24 hours. Everything is by the clock. There's a time you're supposed to sleep. The lights are supposed to be off your room, a time that you get up very, very early in the morning. I think the stars are out when we get them in the academy. A lot of physical toughening up that happens there, a lot of mental, toughening up that happens there, which all together, it's a complete package where you're basically, being molded into, that mold where you'll be able to be a soldier and serve the in armed forces. And so that is the general training that we get. And other than that, specific branch training, like I was in the flying branch, so we are taught flying, and that I think in itself is it's such a wonderful feeling, because when you land up in the academy, the first time you go on airy aircraft, you don't know anything about it. And right from, how you sit in the cockpit and how you're supposed to strap up, and everything about the aircraft is taught to you by your instructors. Again, it's a very, very special bond that anybody who's learned flying in the academy shares with their instructors. Like there are 4 instructors who have taught me flying. First, initially, the initial stage, we were taught on a fixed wing aircraft, which is a training, trainer. It's no longer airworthy. That time it was the HPT 32. So we are taught for the first term, which is of 6 months on that fixed wing aircraft. And then we graduate to helicopters. Again, 2 semesters in helicopters of 6 months each. So there were 4 different instructors who have taught me. And I think till date, I owe everything, as far as my professional life has been concerned, to them. So again, a very close and a special bond that we share with our instructors. And other than that, I think we make some wonderful, wonderful, bonds and friends during that training phase, because, I think as it is said that, when you're going through one of your toughest or the roughest periods of your times is when you make your strongest and bonds and, some really close friends. So it's wonderful, that training. When you're undergoing it, yes, it is tough. It is very demanding, but at the end of it, you realize that how much, stronger, not only physically, mentally, how much more stronger you have become, and what a better individual. There are so many things about your own self which you never thought that you'd be able to do when you learn that, you have that kind of mental strength. So it's a wonderful, wonderful, feeling once you complete that training and get commissioned. So I think it's a very memorable journey, very demanding and tough, needs a lot of hard work. And I think those 1.5 years, when I went back to my, my group of college friends after I finished my training and got commissioned, I had a small break before I had to report to my first unit. I went and met them. I think they all could see that change in me, and it was a wonderful feeling having accomplished that training.
My second question to you is, what kinds of challenges did you encounter in your wonderful journey?
What kind of challenges
Did you encounter in your journey?
in my journey? Okay. I think if I talk about my training at the academy, it was, just learning new things every day. You are under a lot of pressure at that time. especially because during our flying training, at every there are different what do you say, benchmarks that you're supposed to reach at a particular stage, like say about by your, you say, 14th or 15th sortie, you're supposed to be reaching a particular level of performance, and which is quite tight and needs a lot of hard work, as I said. So I think that is one thing that keeps you under a lot of pressure. And plus, there are a lot of deadlines to meet at the same time. You're studying a lot of aviation related subjects, like aviation medicine. You're studying about, aerodynamics and radio avionics, which are the radio nav aids and everything. A lot of studying as well involved. So I think a lot of deadlines to meet, which keep you under pressure. And having said that, yes, physically it's demanding, that all that toughening up that happens. And after that, if I talk about, being getting posted to the unit, to an operational unit, I think initially, yes, when we reached the unit, me and one of my postmates, we were the first two women pilots to that unit as well, to have flown with women pilots. So yes, for them it was a big change. For us also, trying to make our place there was challenging, and I think that is where it took a little amount of work from both the sides, for them also to try and understand and sort of believe in us and have that confidence in us, because we come from the academy. The cadets or our postmates who are there, they have trained with us for 1.5 years, so they are able to understand us, and we also are comfortable with them. But suddenly when you reach the unit and you're the first one, it takes some time and some effort from both the sides to be able to get that rapport going and get comfortable with each other. So I think that is where it took a little bit of effort and how do I say, uh, understanding from both the sides. But I think here one thing was very clear in our minds, that there was no doubt anywhere, that we will not be accepted, or whether we'll be able to perform or cope up with the pressures and all. So because the doubt was not there in our minds, I think it became very easier. And right from the word go, we knew that we are not, if I can put it like that, that we were not playing, in opposite courts. We were not playing against each other. The officers who were already there, for them it was a new thing. So we were on the same side of the court. It was sort of a mixed doubles that we were playing. So it just took a little bit of adjusting and understanding. And after that, I think it was really nice.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Adya Singh, and I would like to know, after facing so many obstacles, how did it feel to have finally gained fame?
How did you?
How did it feel to have finally gained fame?
Fame. Oh, I think this idea of getting famous really didn't, ever come into my mind, because it was, when these Kargil operations started, I was on leave. So in fact, I just reached home that day when I got this telegram from my unit, where it said that my leave is cancelled and I had to report back to the unit immediately. And I reached back. So, in the defense services, it's all very, how do I say, very crisp. It is not very, very many emotions are shown or involved. So when I got this telegram from the unit that I had to report back and my leave was cancelled, there are no reasons given in it, and we don't expect the reasons to be there. That's how it is. So I reached back, and after I reached back, the flight commander of my unit, who's the person who's detailing pilots, he told me that I reached in the evening, that the next day morning I had to leave for Srinagar. That is the base from where we were operating. I was posted at Udhampur, and then we were based at Srinagar for some time during the Kargil operation, and from there we were operating. He told me that the next day I had to go to Srinagar for the Kargil operations. I was still very young in service. I had just about say 3 years of service, so I didn't really understand the whole situation very well at that time. And I think it was just a lot of excitement at that time which I had, that just knowing that I have been given this opportunity to be there, a part of these operations. And after I reached there, it was all so fast, and no matter how much of training you have done in the unit or in the academy, when you participate in actual operations, the conditions there are quite different. And there was so much for me to learn there, because from the time I reached there, I think right from the kind of accommodation that is given to you and how you operate, the kind of briefings are done, and everything is so different from your routine unit life. And a lot of senior officers from my unit were there, and they taught me a lot. So I think during that phase, this idea of being famous, or being called the Kargil girl, or even the idea that I was the only woman at that time was flying in that the environment or at that base, just never came to my mind. I think it never came to anybody's mind, my other unit officers at that time. It was so much, so much to do at that time. And for me, especially, much to learn, I think, from everybody, because I think almost everybody there was senior to me. So a lot of things for me to learn, to pick up. So it was just so, how do I say, mechanical at that time, that this idea of getting famous never came. It was, in fact, after the operations got over, that they had a media interaction. And that is where the media sort of, saw that I'm on the tarmac. We were all standing there, that I'm the only woman pilot who was standing there. So that is where, it started. So that is where first time, any of us realized that, I'm getting any media attention or things like that. I think if I have to now put it, I think, as I had said earlier, I just feel very fortunate about this whole thing, because it is not as if I was very deserving. I think it was just, I was fortunate to be posted at that time in that area. And because Kargil came under our area of operation, so that is something, I think, destiny. And I was very fortunate to be there. And plus, I think, if I have to put it, my seniors, I think they took that huge step of letting me participate in these operations. They took that responsibility and took that huge step. So I think it's all because of them that I could, get this recognition and this name of being the Kargil girl.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Kriti Mehrotra, and I wanted to know that success can be interpreted in multiple ways. What is your definition of success, and what qualities does one require to become successful according to you?
Success. Okay. I think for me, success just means to be able to do what you want to do, and not necessarily achieve something, but just be doing what you want to do, is, or sort of be on that path where you want to go. So for me, I think that is success, and doing it with full honesty and sincerity. Because and if you talk about qualities, or what is required to be successful, I think it is one bold statement there is, there's no shying away from hard work. I think anywhere, irrespective of the field that you are or what you're doing, or wherever you are, whichever position, I think it's hard work and sincerity which is very, very important, and which will always see you through difficult times. And also, I think like if I talk about myself, I was stepping into a field which was uh, so to say at that time male dominated. But I think what helped me to be able to perform and be there is because in my own mind I did not take up this profession, or I did not sort of got into this field trying to prove anything to anybody or trying to break any glass ceilings. I was just trying to do something that I wanted to do, something that I was passionate about. And I was very clear in my mind that if I have that confidence in me, and that focus is there with me, then it's easier to if easier to have people around you to have that confidence and faith in you when you have it within yourself, because it's just not possible that if you are not confident about yourself, you don't have that faith in your own self, and then you're trying to ask other people to have that confidence in you. So I think that is very, very important for anybody to be able to sort of be successful, if I have to put it like that, that you need to have that confidence in your own self first, and then try and work with focus and sincerity. So I think these are few words which I think have been my mantra for life. And also I think there's one more thing that I remember very distinctly from my childhood. I'm sure a lot of you would have that poem called Don't Quit. So I still have that, big poster in my room at home. My father gave that poem to me on a big poster when I was very young. I was still in school. And I think I used to read it almost every day, at least once. And whenever I was going through a tough phase, or, be under pressure or feeling low, I think I just read it over and over again. And that somehow became my mantra for life, that whatever happens, you just can't quit, so you just have to keep trying with all your might, and things will fall in place. So I think these are a few things which I think will work for anybody who's trying to be successful in life. And also I think a lot of times, like when I was growing up very young, at my home we had a very gender neutral kind of an atmosphere. But later on, I did realize that at that time, it wasn't, such a gender neutral society or environment. We are still working towards it, I think. Uh, we, I'm sure we have come a long way. But at that time, one thing that was taught to me by my parents and which really helped me is, a lot of times, we tend to ask for equal opportunities and equal platform everywhere, but sometimes we tend to forget that equal opportunities also come with equal responsibilities. So at my place, I mean, when I was growing up, it wasn't, opportunities were not given to me on a platter, because I had an elder brother. We were given equal opportunities, at the same time equal responsibilities. So they go hand in hand. So that is again something we all should everybody should understand, that opportunities come along with responsibility. So you should be ready to have the same kind of potential and responsibility if you want equal opportunity.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Nandini, and I would like to end this questionnaire by asking, what message would you give to girls who want to pursue currently male-dominated fields?
Okay. I think the bottom line should be, don't try to pursue something just because it's male dominated and you want to do something new there. You must always follow your heart and your own, what we say, passion, or what you want to do in life, irrespective of the fact that whether that field is male dominated or not. So go with that absolutely neutral and unbiased. If that field just happens to be male dominated, so be it. Don't let it, sort of fog your focus or your outlook towards that profession. And also go, if that field happens, like in my case it happened to be a male dominated field, don't go there with the idea of preconceived notion that people out there are going to be sort of trying to put you down, or they're going to doubt you. Yes, you must understand that these things might happen, but at the same time you have to give them that due, that for them as well it's a new thing, so they might take a little bit of time to sort of accept that acceptance to come. And the easiest way to get that acceptance is only your own potential and hard work. No amount of shouting slogans, or trying to just be vocal about asking for opportunities. I think you have to first start with that hard work, that sincerity. You have to show them that you have that potential and you're ready to put in that hard work, and you are there at par with them as far as the responsibilities go, the hard work go. And then I think the acceptance comes very naturally and very easily. And I think that should be the bottom line of, wherever, whichever field you're going. And a lot of times people feel that, especially young children that I interact with, that the only way you can serve the nation is by joining the armed forces. Yes, the honor of wearing the uniform is exceptional. There's absolutely, no two ways about it. But irrespective of the profession that you are, I think if you're doing it with sincerity, you're doing it with honesty, you're doing it well, to the best of your potential, I think you are serving the nation, irrespective of, what your profession is. So I think that again, should be the bottom line of choosing your profession.
Thank you, ma'am, for connecting with us and giving us your precious time to share your valuable life experiences. We are truly grateful that you connected and interacted with us today. We would also like to thank Preeti ma'am, our founder and CEO, and the entire BHIS team for providing us with so many real-life experiences and opportunities.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful interacting with you all. And all the very best to all of you. And my best wishes to the faculty as well. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am.